Yeah, the while I was up and about, the Tall Whites announced that they had in their process of integration sampled many languages, and that the languages of the Western peoples are least truthful, least accurate, most likely to be misconstrued, something along those lines.
Well, I think in our languages we try to make it as precise, right? I think we
Yes.
took a lot of the deeper meanings and the multiple layers of meanings away and tried to make it specific, which again follows the flow of what we're doing here, or where we're doing here anyway.
Well,
And before we go any further, I just want to say, I think this is the first time I've had the opportunity, as many times as I had, to interact with Will's energy. Do you prefer Will or Willa?
Hi. I go by Willow, but my
Willow.
name is
Okay.
not updated because there
Okay.
was a time in my life where I went by Will, and I just haven't updated all my uh, online stuff
Okay.
yet to be up to date.
Okay.
So
And so I just want to say, I really love your energy.
thank you. I
It's
really
so
love
very
yours.
nice. It's so very nice.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
enjoy it
I
immensely.
I'm excited to be meeting new people and connecting and yeah, sharing all of these stories and information. It's so fascinating and really exciting for me. So thank you.
Cool. Yes, that's
and
very obvious.
and Willow or anyone else, don't be shy about posting your contact information or whatever you would like us to know about you in the chat,
Okay,
because
thank
we
you.
have new people in here. Oh my gosh, and Simone's back. She's trying to wake up the hybrid children again.
Well, I
But
have a website and a blog that I would love to share with anyone who's interested in looking.
Yeah, just
boy,
put it
look,
in the chat if
I
you
was gonna
would.
say, look, she, you give her an inch, right? She's just all over this. She gets so excited about her creativity.
There you
And
go.
of course,
It's
I'm
the
just
only way to be.
playing around. Absolutely.
Willow came to our first hybrid event, and that's how we got acquainted with Willow. And it was a beautiful exchange during that event. Um,
Thank you for
So
having me.
is that a name you used before you became familiar? I'm guessing you're familiar with Bashar and Willow's stuff. Was that a name you were using before that or in association with that?
Oh, well, Willow is my birth name. It's actually different than
Oh,
Willa. It's like the tree, the willow tree.
yes. Very
Yeah,
cool.
so that's my birth name. And my
And you
sister
are,
named Cedar, which is another tree. So we're sort of the tree sisters.
you should tell them where you live.
I live 30 minutes away from Yosemite National Park, so I'm in the forest and it's wonderful.
oh, very nice. Very nice. Hmm.
And
A couple
she's
of
been there
sisters
forever.
named
Um,
for plants. Hmm. There's a theme there.
Very closely connected with nature.
Yes. And yourself.
well, with that, if Ray is prepared to bring the tall whites, we could move right along.
And I wasn't sure why they agreed to come, because they generally only do things that are necessary. So I'm assuming that this is somehow necessary for them. They see some benefit in having this exchange, but I guess we'll all find out. Give us a moment while we examine the countenance or auric field as you know it of those involved in this co-creation. And we thank you for that and for adding your rainbow of energies to this experience. We have decided that these types of gatherings are more beneficial than other explorations into humanity circles for the openness allows us greater leeway to further our combined missions of acceptance and integration of the other, as well as the sharings with other beings, which are part of the unfolding, which is the impetus for our expansion into these arenas. Again, we do not like your language, but it will suffice as in time, as you know it, it will become superfluous. We look forward to those times. There are questions, some about physical contrivances, which do not interest us. But if you have questions, we may entertain them for the benefit of both of us.
Christiana, come forth.
Thank you. Greetings. I would like to ask if you would like to share with us how your experiences and your learnings from us are progressing. So, would you like to share how we are assisting and what you have learned so far?
Your first question started, our initial attempts were haphazard as it has smoothed into something more attuned to the flow we expect. And your assistance for now is more passive, for there is little you can do, as from our perspective and our mission, we are easing you into us, and we must formulate how to best accomplish that. Your energetic application into a physical reality with the related consciousness and experiences which you have can help us to plan and anticipate for things which are unnecessary and obstruct flow. You and your assistants are helping to streamline this process, and we are grateful for enabling us to move forward in this more efficient way in your language.
Thank you for sharing.
And thank you for being willing to entertain us.
Do we
Again,
have do we have anyone else that would like to ask a question? Willow, step forward.
I was just wondering if you experienced the full spectrum of emotions or only a limited spectrum.
there are no need for us to experience those things outside of how we creatively perform our duties as a species. And those intellectual inside jokes, jests, unique phrasings, or symbolism is the emotion which we entertain, although it is mostly varying degrees of one emotion, for it is that expression, our mental expression, which is outside of our physicalized, in your terms, duties, although they are far from physical. It is that actuated part of our body which performs the services which our race is known.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
We have achieved more ends, which makes this a valuable encounter. And we have exposed ourselves to other beings, which now have choices they may not have had prior. And we appreciate the stability of the consciousness forms which have accepted this physical role. For each of you has a consistency in your physicality which allows for the various non-physical elements to be part of your identity. That is helpful, and you are to be commended, and that will expand and continue, which is why we are co-creating this with you now. The silent ones will wait as we are free and willing to go.
Welcome back, Ray.
They are not the most comfortable of energies. But I'm not complaining.
They seem to be acclimating better with us.
Agreed. That flow was pretty consistent. And it was, yeah, when they talked about, before when I got up and they mentioned that they had sampled other languages and they were comparing them to ours. I don't know if I can express how much they dislike the English language for its opportunities for misunderstanding. I guess it's kind of like, reaching in for a bag of chips and finding out, oh, this is somebody left the open dog doo-doo bag here, and I grabbed something inside that instead. It's just like they reach for a word and they're like, I gotta use this. And they just move forward. It's it doesn't really help for them to complain and they don't feel the negative aspect of it. It's just an impediment to flow. It's like a tooth missing in a gear. And when, oh, it gets to that one and it goes, and it just got this little stutter in it. But it's fun for me. And hopefully other people as well.
Sure.
I can't relate to that.
Thank you, Heidi.
Oh
Good
my
night, Heidi.
Oh, and I hope, Felix, I guess you got your money's worth out of this free session.
Felix.
Yeah, it's still in the morning for him.
I
Christina.
yeah, it's 2 a.m. here, and I really like right now this moment where I speak with you and I talk English with you. I enjoy this because like I know how German is and how it can sound and how it can be and everything. And so for me, English is kind of an update just for me personally because I absolutely love how the language is flowing, how smooth it is, and the words themselves. I absolutely enjoy the language. So I don't, I cannot really relate. I mean, I know what it's like to be beyond language, you know, to be silent, to be still, to be out of thought, to just be the frequency of something itself and everything. But I so much enjoy listening to English speakers. It's really a
Oh,
passion of mine. I really love it. I don't know. But I understand. I understand it though.
yeah.
I don't know.
Thank you for that, Ed. I personally love the English language and its flexibility and versatility, but that is my focused energy. I'm not used to not communicating at all with physical beings because I never needed to. And now that you have to, you're like, and this is the tool that I get to communicate with. It's like, you want me to dig into this rock and get these minerals out, and you're giving me a wooden pencil to chip away this rock, and they're just like, you got to be kidding me. But if this is what we got to use, and this is what we got, and they're just moving forward.
Do you think they just communicate by frequencies or like
Yes. Well, they had told me previously after the first group session that it was not very efficient for them energetically. So they created a substation outside of physical reality which could send and receive and store the frequencies of human thought and their communications, and they can just read the consciousness of that limited consciousness that they imbued that substation with. So
Hmm.
they no longer have to be interacting with us in any quote unquote real time or anything like that. They can just download everything that they want and all the interactions and get them from whatever time frame they need. And it doesn't really, it's just like something they're doing on the side. It's like you set up a YouTube video to post tomorrow morning. That's kind of like what they're doing. They're inputting everything and it's just popping out at the right time for us. But they're learning. I
I
hope
just
go
I
ahead.
just lost you for a second because I don't know the connection. I'm moving inside of my apartment here, and sometimes I lose the connection, but now it's back. Was just getting a water.
I guess you weren't
Ooh.
supposed to hear that, Felix.
I really like I have so much respect since a decade of people who channel, and I'm every time I see someone channeling, I'm like, am I able to do it? And then, but there isn't. I don't really follow German channelers. I mostly follow people from the USA. And then I'm like, if I was like my whole spiritual knowledge, I like to to often to think, even to think in English, because it just comes in a spiritual aspect. It comes easier to me than actually in German, even though it can be beautiful to use German in this way. But I'm like, if I was going to channel, maybe every entity would get confused. Which language am I supposed to pick? I cannot. I don't know. This guy seems confused. I don't know.
Everybody channels.
Yeah, maybe it's not that important for me in this life
Well,
to
and
be
again,
a.
go back, try not smoking and see if you channel, since you have that belief. Otherwise, you're going to have to resolve that belief that you cannot do that. And that's part of apparently the new spiritual consensus is we just have to love those parts of us that we don't like. And if we integrate that into our loving being and we love those parts of us, then we don't really have to focus on fixing it. Because if
Mm.
we love it, it will fix itself and absorb itself into the new being we are becoming.
I also realized that I have to be kind of careful with my. I'm sorry, but I think I get what you're saying, but I'm really loud here, and I think my neighbors are sleeping, so I have to. I kind of have to be. I'm not yelling around too much here right now.
Yeah.
You're coming
You
through
better
loud and
speak
clear.
some German every once in a while so they don't confuse you with some obnoxious American.
Ja, also vielen Dank, Leute, dass ihr hier für mich channelt und so. Ich spreche einfach mal ein bisschen Deutsch, dann geht es alles schon viel besser hier.
Danke.
So it's good to see Simon here tonight and Ina. Oh my God, Ina! So many
Fresh
times
from
that we have
Spain,
shared
I
space
believe.
here.
Wasn't that right?
Say that again.
Oh, I thought she was fresh from Spain.
What? What did you say?
You got back from Spain?
Yeah, I was in Spain, yeah.
For how long were you over there?
For the months.
Oh, wow.
4 months.
Good. Yeah. What part of Spain do you go to?
I was in Valencia.
Valencia. Nice little place.
It was a little experiment. You know, just live somewhere else.
Yes. Excellent. And Danielle, I'm very curious and not so shy. So if you have any thoughts about your experience with us tonight, I'd be really welcome to hearing whatever they are, if you care to share. And that's a wrap, folks. And no, I'm just kidding.
Maybe she's taking a little break, and maybe she'll come back, and she'll know what to do. She got the
I
vibe,
know.
whatever she's at, right?
Yeah, well, especially since Felix doesn't know if I'm joking or not because he hasn't
Yeah.
been around me that
But
much.
we can ask the same question to Simone. Simone
Yes.
came in
Welcome
tonight.
back. Yeah, we didn't scare her off.
God, she wanted a little bit more.
I came late, so I missed the first part. But I have to say it felt really, what I loved about this space was as soon as I got on, I felt such a great energy. And it felt almost like going into a little. Remember when you were a kid and you had like a tent or something that you make a fort? It felt like I just came into like a little fort and we're all like hanging out in a fort.
As soon as you get into the fort, the fun comes in and you get excited about what you're gonna do there. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, it just felt really lovely and much needed, and I could feel energy kind of expanding from me. So thank you so much for creating this space.
We're glad to have you.
And thank you for that sharing. As soon as you said you remember when you were a kid, I pictured the 10-person canvas tent that we had as a kid. And then you started talking about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's what. So we got this wavelength thing working. So have you thought about your revelations from the hybrid children last time, Simone?
um everything's just been moving so fast for me right now, and I feel very disheveled. Not really. I think I'm open to it all. I have always had this kind of feeling where I felt like there were three children that I was like supposed to have, and then but I never had kids and I don't plan to. But I just always had that kind of feeling, two boys and a girl kind of a thing. Um, so I don't know. I'm always kind of open to things because I just don't know, you know?
Excellent.
So yeah. But I still know I'm, not it feels like not so much of this world as one would think is how I feel. Do you know what I mean?
Yay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Did Louise share that transcript with you?
He has a copy of it.
Okay, the hybrid children transcript. Okay, just checking. He's a good man, that Luis.
More coming. More coming.
And that's kind of what takes a lot of time out of my day because I'm transcribing the hybrid channeling that I do in the mornings when on the days that I do it. And I have to rewatch the whole video and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that these are kind of short because we don't have a 30-hour day. So,
That's kind of an issue, huh? No
well, yeah, because
30-hour days. We probably need more than 30 though.
Can I just ask of everybody, is your process to do like how writers get up and write every morning kind of a thing? Is your process to do like a scheduled, like get up in the morning with my cup of tea and like get a download channeling kind of
I
a
think
thing, or is it when it's
I think
called
everybody
upon?
has a different process.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yep.
there's a lot of factors that go into how you fall into it, so to speak.
I'm not dedicated, but I don't have anything published or ready even, or so maybe that's not the best way to do it.
Ray's still working on his process, but in the meantime, there's more people knocking at his doors. I want to be in. Come on,
Like the
Ray.
tall whites. And they told me there are others because they wanted me to do help. They wanted to have a book come through me. And they just said there are others. If you we know how you fickle humans are. If you don't have time, we have options. Don't sweat it because we're not. We're just getting it done.
But listen, every time that we bring a channeler and we have an opportunity to talk about, how it happened for them and what is their process originally, how they and now how it works. You have somebody like I don't know if you saw Chuck before he left, and he did speak a little tonight, uh, Simon. But he is somebody that has evolved very quickly. He's been doing it for a long period of time, although really only for the last couple of years consciously. I think it's about 3 years or something like that. But he had a podcast, and for a long period of time, he was doing the podcast, and he started noticing that, in the middle of the podcast, he would say things. He'd say, "Who the hell? Where did that come from?" not unlike what you were telling us the last time, Simon. You know, when you are having a client and you're telling them something, you know, it just comes from somewhere, right? So that's kind of how it started for him. And then, of course, you know, he has been associated with another person that channels here, which is Serge Grambois, channels Chris. And you experienced that last week, I think a little bit. No, maybe not, because you came for the second hour as well. And that man has been channeling for 43 years. And Shock belonged connected with him 20 some years ago. And since then, you know, they pair up in terms of Chuck at the beginning was just a fellow participating in the channelings of Chris, probably personally channeling, Serge personally channeling somewhat, and groups and so forth. And he belongs to a group that continues to do that to this day. They meet weekly. Anyway, so through that stream, he developed more and more and more. But then again, everybody has other things that make the person be what they are. If I were to take Chuck again, you know, there's tons of other things that he's done. In fact, I think I remember him saying once, you know, what I have not done, yeah, I don't know, because I've done everything. I've done many, 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 many things to get in touch with that essence that he's. And so he's traveled many different paths. So some people have to do that or want to do that. They have that drive.
And Danielle is unmuted now.
Yeah, Danielle.
I've been I've been trying to express that I have more of a technical issue, being able to raise my hand or write that I want to speak. It's more of a technical issue I have. It's not because I'm shy. The my not participating live is another matter altogether. But I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me this experience tonight, and I'm blown away every time. I'm very, very grateful.
Thanks for adding your energy. And whatever is good for you will always be good for us, Danielle. Thank you so much.
Your understanding.
Your
welcome.
Your voice carries a very beautiful, beautiful energy.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And whether you're quiet in the background or not, you are part of the field that creates this every time.
Woohoo!
Thank you.
Come back anytime.
Absolutely.
We'll leave the Zoom light on for you.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if Zoom allows me in, I would love to be able to participate more. But for some odd reason, it's just giving me so much anxiety because I can't connect as much as I want to. But thank you for your patience and understanding.
Now, Danielle, you're in Canada. Where at again?
I'm in Toronto, and it's 42 degrees here, and I didn't install my AC, so I am sweating
It's not
here,
supposed to do that right now. Oh my God! You know, I thought Montreal is the only one that would do that in the summertime. It was just dropped like a rock.
No, we're being hit for another 2 days, I believe, and then it should ease off. But I don't wish this. Yeah, it's a strange summer.
Yep. And that's
one thing I do. Yes, that's what I understand. One thing I did want to find out, and maybe that would be a question for the first channeler. I have such a hard time expressing myself for some reason these days. Is singing also, or has singing ever been a subject of conversation in any of the channels in the past? As much as people would be talking about laughing or you know, being physically active, has singing come up?
Good question. And good night, Willow. Yes, not only singing, but chanting and other things as well. And I'll let Luis comment further.
For sure. Singing, chanting. There's been a number of that. And of course, we have had light language and,
Oh,
sounds that are produced, in what we call light language.
yes.
That has come into the picture. We actually had one full session, of that. And Willow left the room, but we have discussed about possibility of actually bringing art and music into the picture as forms of channeling, okay,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and getting us attuned, okay.
Mhm.
Certainly, if you scan the airwaves, the YouTube famous channelers that are out there, there's some that actually use chanting
Mhm.
in order to get in their states. Particularly, I'm thinking of one in particular, Daniel Scranton uses some
Yes.
sounds, some chants, and some movements that are very unique to
Yes.
him.
I,
Okay.
yes.
So that, and if you notice, Ray doesn't do it as much as he used to, but Ray, especially if you see some of the original channelings in which he was channeling the beams of light, that's not that long ago that he started with that, by the way. For those that are interested in how fast the process can be, it can be very fast. Uh,
I'll say.
there was a lot of, I let Ray, there was a
Well,
lot of
that was the Pleiadians mostly. Yeah.
the
When they
Pleiadians
came
too.
through, they
Yeah, yeah.
rocked my world. But you left out the singing. You forgot about the absolute stars of high vibe channeling in the singing world. The hybrid children, they
Yeah.
sing. I mean, they came through, and just about every time they come through, they sing.
Yes.
They wanted me to tell you that.
Besides, it's not the voice
I'm
thing; is the frequencies that we receive.
I'm not surprised the hybrid children would be singing. I ever since I started being part of your group, I've been seeing uh, numbers, triple numbers. I've been connecting with the hybrids, like very. It just feels real to me, and I'm so excited because there's there's a part of me that feels motherly, but I'm not able to actually express it physically these days, and it's so amazing, and I feel really blessed by this experience. Yes.
Excellent. I got all warm and fuzzy when you said that. So thank you, Danielle, for
Oh my
sharing.
gosh.
It's a beautiful time to be in this planet.
Yes.
And the children are very happy. It's not just a myth.
So many good reasons to be here.
And
So, Ina, Spain, did you have a lot of kind souls that follow this path in Spain? Do you have lots of friends that you
I
can hang
couldn't
out with?
hear you well. What
Yeah,
do you?
in Spain, when you're in
Cutting
Spain, do
out.
you have a lot of good friends out there that you can do these things with, channeling or?
Um, no, but I like movement and I do the conscious dance. So I met a group of people who do so-called bio dancer. It's like nature, what they call it natural dance. So it's like a conscious dance, and those people were very special. We were all spiritual, and
nice.
because I don't speak Spanish. I mean, I couldn't,
What do you speak with them?
That's the interesting, when you do that
Thank you,
type of
Simone.
when you do that type of the movement, um, that's actually you're not supposed to speak actually on a dance floor. When we do conscious dance or ecstatic dance, actually that's one of the items they say don't speak on a dance floor. And I say too when I do my classes, because it's a moving meditation. So it was good because we was sharing. I mean, somebody was speaking English and we kind of translate, but it's about body communication. It's more to me, that's my language. It's better than talking. You know, some years ago, because I always had problem with languages too for some reason, right? So years ago, one of some guy, he's a channeler, and he said to me, you know, it's more natural for you to telepathic communication when talking. He said, I know you have problem to because he said it's not natural for you. You have to find somebody who would do telepathic communication with you. Like, who would? But the movement, bodies, but that's my topic. You know, I don't want to go too because I'm too passionate. You know, when I talk about body and movement, I can talk and talk and talk. Because I'm passionate about, you know, but you know, it's a phrase which I'm always saying, body never lies. So when we have body communication, it becomes energy communication. So it becomes more genuine, more too, because when people speak, a lot of times it's, you know, it's not always, it's fake. It could be anything else, right? But the movement, when people, and I actually like to watch people move. It doesn't have to be dance. You don't have to be a dancer. People don't have to be, everybody's a dancer, right? But when I watch people to move, sometimes it makes me emotional. I could cry when I see people movement, and I can see who they are genuinely, you know, because I see, I guess that's the energy expression or more, you know, the source energy coming out. And so I found that type of people, and that was special.
Beautiful.
Way to manifest. Way to manifest. You brought in those people who would help you create new movements of expression. I think that's fabulous.
Yeah, I came to the class and they don't know me, you know, and I don't even speak language.
Well, you know, generally speaking, Spaniards are very expressive.
And the teacher,
they have a lot more gestures, you know.
Yeah, and the teacher, she was talking about something about what we're gonna do in the class, and I just watched her, and you know, I felt like I listened with my body, and I think I understood what she was saying. I mean, in a way, kind of, I felt what she was saying. No, because I'm teaching similar stuff, I kind of know what it is, what she's talking about. I mean, I feel it.
Yep. I'm an emotional dancer myself because I find that when I dance, other people laugh, and I like getting that emotion out of them.
And you don't care about them, so you okay, got it.
But you know, the freestyle we do, the point of that, you can become totally yourself, because usually that's the container is no judgment, so you can come and you can be totally yourself. You don't have to even dance. Some people sometimes don't like to dance, which is okay too. You know, you can lay down on the floor and whatever. If somebody needs some emotional release or whatever, you know. But the point of that is just be. You're coming somewhere, you can just be. And that's the benefit of a movement.
Well, it's important that we actually connect to people, and there are many different ways of connecting to people, and we have to transcend our first inclination to just connect at the level of language. They said this, that I said that, you know, it's and we're not paying attention to them in reality, and we're not paying attention to the energy that they're projecting. and we're not using our inner senses. Hey, did I say something that Ray knows something about inner senses?
Always.
Possibly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Seth comes into the picture.
Yeah. Because language is very limited, and sometimes
Language is very limited. I have found, I have traveled to places in which I really did not speak the language. And, two places come to mind right now. One of them is on the news right now, Iran. And I went there because I used to be married to a Persian woman. And I went to restaurants. I went to a whole bunch of different places, and they all thought I spoke the language because I knew exactly what motions I needed to and what utterances I needed to do because I was capturing, because of the way that they, expressed themselves to some extent, I was capturing more or less what they were trying to tell me. Uh, I even remember going to this pastry shop and there's some beautiful little pastries and I said, I want to have some of this. And I knew a few words and I thought I told the guy one pastry and what I told him was 1 kilo. So he
So you want
filled
the
this
cream
big box.
filling?
And then, but
Uh-huh.
when he told me what the price was, hey, why not? At that price, any time of the week, I'll feed the whole family. I have family there. We were staying with them, so everybody was happy that I brought all that kind of stuff. But my best experience was in France, God, Alsace region, and we had just gotten there the late night before, and our family was well connected in that town, and so they had invited a lot of their friends, and even the mayor of that town was there. Okay, and we sat. We had a great amount of time. Most of them spoke no English at all. Okay, and I talked to a guy that was a customs officer. He spoke a little tiny bit of English, and he was trying to talk to me about his problems at the time and this and that and the other. And we actually communicated. Occasionally I had to tell my family member, John Claude, please, what is this word? Occasionally I had to do that, but we communicated beautifully. But that evening, again, that was my first day in France. That evening, part of that group, there was an old man that was there. Obviously, he lived by himself. He was like an 85-year-old man. Everybody kind of knew him and loved him, and he was there. And he started talking in French to them, his friends, was just watching, and telling a story about, yeah, apparently some things have happened that day, and he was aching and this and that. And I thought I understood everything he said. The reason was not because I understood the words. I understood the movements, the inflections, I mean, he was doing all of these things, and I was able to relate it right away. I could think of my grandparents, they were kind of expressive people like that, and I just tune into that. And somebody says after a while, oh, can I translate for you? I said, you don't need to. I got it. I got the whole story. And these people are very they're storytellers. Oh my God, uh I saw some things there. Again, I couldn't understand the language, but it's almost like from another lifetime or dimension. It's always registering in me. Young people, 18, 20 years old, that kind of people, were doing a play. I think it was Moliere, and and it was such beautiful. I mean, it got me my heart open, and I didn't understand the language, but I capture the energy. So communication has to be at that level in order to be real communication. And what is the limit of that? Oh my God, so many
well,
levels.
they think somewhere where the language, I think, is 25%, 30% over communication.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Even when we talk,
Yeah, when we talk,
it's about the body. It's about, I think, number one is energy. You feel people, right? You kind of feel what
Sure.
way
Sure.
we're expressing, right?
Yeah, but often with language they're hiding. You know. Anyway, the commentary here earlier about English, English is a good language for transactions, business, engineering. It's good language for all of that kind of stuff. It tends to be more precise. There's less, from my perspective, there's less words to express concepts in English, and that makes it kind of tidier. But
Yeah, but the
Spanish,
spell, because it's natural to you, but the spell, you put like so many letters, and when you just pronounce just few, like why?
well, it has some idiosyncrasies,
Like,
and that's one of them that,
it doesn't make sense.
things are not pronounced the way that you write them, that's not good. I could say that of French somewhat.
Oh, I don't know French.
And Spanish is a language that you exactly pronounce it the way it's written.
Yeah.
Okay. And
yeah.
if you deviate, somebody's going to say you're not doing that right. Okay.
And in Russian too, because I speak, that's my native language.
In
It's
fact,
whatever you say, whatever is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
letters is the same.
And in Spain in particular, and I do have my grandparents came all from Spain, they tend to be unforgiving about how you're expressing yourself.
Mm.
So it's one of their characteristics overall. But anyway, communications. You have to feel your way more than use the language. My opinion, of course.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how fast you learn it. I mean, I used to be conversational in Spanish, and I couldn't hold a minor conversation now about hardly anything other than es su perro. That's about it. Hace calor. Oh, hace frío. Ooh. That's Felix, you have something to add?
Do I really have to use language now? Please, no.
No. It doesn't have to use language. And remember, the German neighbors are listening.
Yeah, but I don't care at this point. I just want to speak English.
It's now 2:37 in the morning, so they're right at their,
And
perfect
telepathy.
sleep.
I was thinking about that. It's okay staying on, being so late at your end.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a lot of coffee, so I'm prepared. I can talk the whole night through. It's okay.
But we have more people that have that issue, here,
And just for the
Christiana,
record,
it's in Munich. So,
telepathy is welcome here. So you
Okay.
have to use the language.
Oh.
You really don't want to, but sometimes we're picky about who we respond to. So nothing personal.
I just enjoy practicing my English. I think that's very cool.
You're doing great, Felix. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
And I find just to add this with speaking about languages themselves that there are a lot of parallels between German and English, and I don't really want to get into the linearity of the whole history of language, but if you want to think in a linear way, then you could say that a lot of English terms evolved from German even. Like, for example, when I say the hand, in German, a hand is Hand. And for example, the word God in German is simply Gott. So just to use these two words, it's very similar, and there are a lot of parallels. But for example, the older generation is like my parents. They can speak basic English, but they didn't have the opportunities like the internet and just to, for example, songs to to translate songs, English songs into German. And I had these opportunities my whole life. So I really didn't have an issue with learning this at all. you know.
Well, and I'm going to ask a question to you and to Christina Anna. Over here, every generation has a different language. And the newest generation will even use just 3 or 2 letter abbreviations to communicate words or sentences and other things, which, if you're 3 generations removed, you have no idea for the most part what they're talking about. Are you experiencing that where you are?
So you're saying like a micro language, basically?
Yes, like I mean, most of them, I guess, it originated with the text abbreviations. LOL is my generation's pretty much initial foray, but and then TTU, oh my gosh, that's a how techno am I? But now, I mean, they laugh at you for using such things because they're so archaic.
What does TTU mean?
Talk to you later.
I thought it's TTYL.
Well, it could be. See, that's how far back I am.
Oh.
But
Yeah, but I'm really I think I'm really getting more into this whole telepathy kind of vibe and energy first. Like I can see where language can be a barrier, but I'm preparing for a podcast and even for a little radio show where like when you're doing a radio show, I don't even know who uses radio these days, but some people may do, and it's also online. And when you have to moderate these things, like you have to moderate this evening today, then language is of course kind of important, you know.
Mhm.
So I'm yeah, I kind of try to practice my speech a little bit in
we're
these regards.
we're here for you, Felix, and you're doing a fabulous job. Thank you for using us to benefit yourself and to get your concepts out there. We appreciate it.
Thank you for making me so welcome. And also, I have to really, I really need to dig into your channeling videos, Ray, because the first video that I saw of the hybrid children, I was immediately like, I just subscribed, man. Like the energy, you know, it was so cool. Just vibing out. I wish I would have had the actual song in the background.
Yeah,
It was kind of
it's the Gamaguchi by Joe Walsh.
okay. I will Gamaguchi. Does it have to do with the gamma
No,
frequency?
no, it is just totally nonsense. It almost has no words, no meaning to any words at all.
Okay.
So yeah, and if you'd like, hold on, and I'll just go ahead and put it into the chat. I'll just put the YouTube thing in there, and if you watch it with that, it's you'll see that they are keeping good time.
And also, Inna Shapiro, you reminded me that I always wanted to try this ecstatic dance, or just because it's here in Germany too. They got these dance classes, and I that's definitely an area where I can improve, like with dancing. I
Oh no, ecstatic dance. You should go because it's everywhere now. Ecstatic dance is just totally freestyle. You do whatever you want, but it's usually I like the energy and people, and it's cool. It's very cool.
yeah, I need to invest in that instead of tobacco.
Oh yeah, yeah. You would be dance. If you would be dancing, you wouldn't be able to smoke actually. So
I
that's maybe one of the. I smoke in some point in some long time ago.
yeah,
In
yeah.
another world.
Yeah. And okay, because I think it's a good time and because this song cracks me up, the hybrid children like this song, the Gamaguchi, because they heard me playing it. and they saw that I was dancing around, and they afterwards they came in and commented, "We like that song." So I'm going to just play a little bit of it, and you guys can see why they were so excited to hear this. One moment, please.
Okay.
Oh, can you guys hear anything? Because my microphone will filter it out. Okay.
No, I don't. I don't.
Yeah, I forgot. That's why you can't hear it on the video, because the pod mic that I have will filter out anything that comes in from the sides.
Zoom will do it too.
You can
Yeah.
do share.
It's structure for voice.
On the bottom, you have share. You can share the file.
Yeah, you already did, I think.
And it would play. It would play.
Yeah, I put
Yeah,
the
there's a
YouTube
YouTube
link,
file there that you can
yeah,
play.
in the chat, so you can listen to it.
No, I understand, but if
Yeah,
you want us to see it like
Ah.
playing, you can say share, and
Yeah,
it would
the
play on.
screen. Yeah, sure.
If you want to, I mean, you know.
Let's see, but will it share the share sound? Well, I don't know. You can just get it. You guys can just find it through the YouTube link.
I can
Yeah,
play
man.
if you want.
Well, yeah, you don't have the pod mic, so
No. No.
I'll have to go get some sleep because I
Okay.
need to go
Yeah,
to the office
Thank
tomorrow.
you, Christina. Anna.
You know, you're Felix. You're not, you
Yes.
don't live that far from Christiana.
Yeah, well,
She's in the same time zone, I think. Is that correct?
Well, you're both in Germany, so I would
Yeah.
imagine.
yeah.
But Ray, to answer your question, yes, the newer generations do have their own sort of slang way of communication. You can still understand, but they do, yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
We can
There's-
understand it when they allow us to understand it, because they will
Yeah.
alter their communication if it's like over here. If they don't want us to know, then they just use their code and they just skip the words that we have relevance to.
Yeah, but I think it's normal. Like, if I think back when I was a child with my sister, we would also invent things to talk to each other that other people wouldn't understand. So,
Right. Well, and the other part of that, which is coming to the forefront now, is that when they do that, they're also imbuing telepathic frequencies with those little phrases.
yes,
So they're like having a zip drive. They're putting all of this information into this little bit and communicating it, and that works for them. So they're
exactly.
training themselves not to use language as a tool.
Yeah,
I believe like that's the future. Like that's how people gonna communicate more. Like,
That's one of the roles of the hybrid children,
Yeah.
is to teach humans how to utilize that telepathy. And then we get to do fun with symbols.
That's
Thank
really
you,
interesting.
Christina Hanna.
thank you very much.
Good
for the
night,
wonderful
Christiana.
evening.
Gute
Right on.
Nacht.
I'm gonna go to good night.
Yeah, I think it's time to call it.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think so.
Yeah, I
I
think
gotta
it's
get my
time.
Okay.
So
dog
good
up.
night to everyone.
Good
Thank
night,
you for being
Bye.
here.
Thank
May
you
so
you
much.
have all
all.
good,
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Danielle, and nice
sleep.
seeing you again,
Thank
Ina.
you.
And Luis, for being a magnificent host. Thank you again.
Yeah.
You're welcome.